He was just an amazing individual. I was able to meet him when I was 12, and I knew him my entire life through all of his changes.
Well, unfortunately, like I said, the music industry isn't being run by musicians. So it's being run by accountants and lawyers. So I don't know if they'd know real music if they heard it.
I'm an expert addict, okay? I've done it. And I could not tell. I never had an inkling, not even a suspicion, that this dude was dropping even an aspirin.
One time when I was with him privately, he said, "You know what the elevator is, right?"
No.
I said, "No, what's the elevator?" He said, "Well, the elevator is the devil." Right? It scared me.
Prince was an icon, a legend, and a mystery. But what if I told you there's more to his story than anyone ever imagined? Katt Williams just dropped a bombshell that has everyone questioning everything they thought they knew. Did Prince really die the way we were told? Or is there a sinister truth lurking beneath the surface?
We knew there was a police investigation underway at his estate, the studio in Minnesota. Now, official word, we're getting the word now that Prince has died.
And what did Katt Williams discover?
He was just an amazing individual. I was able to meet him when I was 12, and I knew him my entire life through all of his changes.
Why is this information only coming out now? And most importantly, what really happened to Prince? Let's dive in. Prince had a huge impact on many people, including Katt Williams, who openly talked about their connection. Katt and Prince were on the same page about a lot of things: musical talent, women, and cool cars. Katt even shared how they supported each other, especially with the tough business side of things. So when Katt hinted that he knew the reason behind Prince's death and how Clive Davis might have been involved, it wasn't just speculation. It came from someone who was close to Prince and shared many moments with him. In a 2022 interview with Arsenio Hall, Katt revealed that he was inspired by Prince and even spent 5 years as a rapper before moving to comedy. This journey began after meeting Prince at age 12. Katt said this meeting happened in Dayton, Ohio, where Prince was performing. Katt feels like he knew Prince his whole life and saw him as a mentor who boosted his confidence. He credits Prince for his swagger. In true Katt Williams style, he described Prince as a high thinker who was always ahead of the game. While everyone knows Prince was a musical genius, Katt shared how Prince taught him to embrace his uniqueness. According to Katt, Prince's message was, "You can be short, light-skinned, with long hair, and as long as the ladies love you, who cares what others think?"
He was a high thinker, and a guy that was always 30 steps ahead of whatever the curve was.
Some fans are connecting the dots between Katt Williams' claim that Prince was always 30 steps ahead and the eerie, cryptic messages Prince dropped before his untimely death. Whispers are circulating that Katt might have been tipped off by Prince himself, like he knew something dark was lurking, something sinister that might have been orchestrated to silence him for good. You know how Prince was, a master of mystery, always hinting at deeper truths. Some are saying he might have given Katt a peek behind the curtain into a plot to take him down. Now let's take a plunge into the rabbit hole of wild theories surrounding Prince's death, because there are folks out there who think the official story is nothing but smoke and mirrors. Let's dissect the strange puzzle pieces that just don't add up when it comes to Prince's supposed health crisis. We all know Prince was the epitome of clean living: vegan, no booze, a fitness regime that could put us all to shame, the works. So when the news broke that he died from a painkiller overdose, it was like, hold on, what's going on here? Even the big shots in the industry like L.A. Reid were scratching their heads. In a chat on CBS, Louisiana Reid spills the beans that he believed Prince was all good in the health department. The guy was health conscious to the max, vegan lifestyle, no binges, and definitely not known for popping pills. But here's where it gets really odd. The interviewer asks Reid about Prince's health problems, and L.A. Reid's like, I don't know. He spills the tea on how Prince's commitment to staying healthy actually freaked him out. Like, if you're doing everything right, eating green, pumping iron, the whole deal, and still kick the bucket early, what's the deal?
Right. What I know is that he was really health conscious. He was a vegan. He didn't. I didn't know of him abusing. You know, that also really concerned me because it made me think that, wow, so you mean you do all these things to take care of yourself and you die so young?
Now, there were whispers that Prince wasn't doing so hot in the weeks leading up to his departure. Canceled shows, emergency landings, and a dose of an anti-opiate. Things were clearly off. But here's the head scratcher. If he OD'd less than a month before, why wasn't he under the watchful eye of a doc? I mean, common sense, right? The fact that Prince wasn't getting the medical TLC he needed is raising some eyebrows, especially when you consider the business side of things. If you're booking tour dates, you'd want to make sure the headliner is in top shape, right? No unexpected cancellations, especially at the big venues. It's like we're missing a crucial piece of the puzzle here, and the mystery of Prince's health just keeps getting weirder. Also, this Prince mystery, seriously, it's like a plot straight out of a thriller movie. So here's the thing, Prince was found in the same elevator he once called the devil. Yeah, you heard that right. Reed spilled the spooky details on CBS, and it's enough to give you chills. You see, the circumstances surrounding Prince's death inside an elevator were particularly eerie, according to LA Reid, especially given Prince's known apprehensions about elevators. As depicted in the following video from ET, Prince's friend Reid discussed the unsettling discovery of Prince's lifeless body in an elevator.
One time when I was with him privately, he said, you know what the elevator is, right? No. I said, no, what's the elevator? He said, well, the elevator is the devil.
According to ET, Reid shared Prince's aversion to elevators. Prince held a belief that elevators were sinister in nature, often referring to them as instruments of the devil. This perspective on elevators was encapsulated in Prince's 1984 song, Let's Go Crazy. In the song's lyrics, Prince likened elevators to malevolent forces that might attempt to bring a person down. He sang about the struggle to ascend by pressing a higher floor button, symbolizing his defiance against the negative influence he associated with elevators. Reid recounted a conversation he had with Prince regarding the artist's feelings about elevators. This discussion left Reid feeling uncomfortable as it delved into the topic of the devil, something he was uneasy discussing. The news of Prince's lifeless discovery in an elevator on the first floor of Paisley Park, Prince's residence and studio, deeply perturbed Reid given the context of their previous conversation. One time when I was with him privately, he said, "You know what the elevator is, right?" I said, "No, what's the elevator?" He said, "Well, the elevator is the devil." It scared me. I don't like to talk like that, but he said that. So for me, it was like really haunting when I read that he was found in an elevator. But the oddities don't end there. People are really confused about why Prince was alone at Paisley Park. Sure, he was incredibly private, but seriously? No servants, no security, no assistants, nothing? It's looking pretty suspicious. I mean, you'd think someone would be around, especially given his status. And then it gets even weirder. There were rumors and predictions that Prince was heading towards some sort of destiny. His last Instagram post, right before his unexpected death, had people talking. It was a picture of him with the caption, "Just when you thought you were safe." Now, Prince was known for being cryptic, but this post had folks thinking he knew something was coming. Plus, it turns out he might have predicted his own death not once, but twice. At a party at Paisley Park, just days before he died, Prince reportedly told everyone, "Wait a few days before you waste any prayers." If that's not a cryptic message, I don't know what is. And here's where it gets even creepier. There's a rumor that Prince put himself in danger by talking about the controversial topic of chemtrails. In an interview, he shared memories from his childhood of seeing these trails in the sky. Interesting, right? But then he mentioned how everyone in his neighborhood started fighting and arguing after these trails appeared. For context, there's a theory that the government uses jet trails to spread chemicals for population control. Prince talking about this on TV supposedly upset some powerful people.
You know, when I was a kid, I used to see these trails in the sky all the time, and so oh, that's cool. A jet just went over. And then you started to see a whole bunch of them.
And if that's not strange enough, here's something even spookier. In an episode of The Simpsons called Treehouse of Horror, there's a segment where Homer Simpson takes out several celebrities, including one referred to as the Purple One. The unique guitar makes it obvious they're talking about Prince, and it's supposedly on government orders. Whether it's just an eerie coincidence or something more sinister, it definitely sends chills down your spine. Now let's dive into Prince's epic battle with Warner Bros. This story is a saga in itself. Back when Prince was a huge star signed to Warner Bros., he started fighting for control over his music. He famously said, "I owned the work because I paid for it and I did all the work." In other words, he created his music, so he believed it should belong to him. But as you might guess, the record companies saw things differently.
The way I looked at it, I owned the work because I paid for it. And I did all the work. I created it, so I felt like it should belong to me. That said, the companies felt otherwise.
Prince waged a war against Warner Bros., fighting tooth and nail for ownership of his rights and more creative control. It wasn't a walk in the park, especially since he was trying to break free from a deal he signed when he was just 19. The battle got so real that he famously started appearing with the word slave on his face in 1999, a bold statement to say the least. In an interview with Paper Mag, Prince spilled the tea on wanting to buy back his masters from Warner Bros. Their response? A solid no way. So what did Prince do? He dropped a bomb saying, "I'm going to re-record them, all of them." Picture this, 2 catalogs with almost the same music, but Prince's version, well, that's going to be the superior one. You can either toss your money to the big company or support new power generation, he said. The man had choices, and he wanted you to make them. Prince didn't hold back about the industry's grip on artists in other interviews either. He laid it out plain and simple, saying, "As long as you're signed to a contract, you're going to take a minority share of the winnings. Only a select few make it big, while the majority are left in the dust."
And as long as you're signed to a contract, you're going to take a minority share of the winnings. A select few of us will do well, the majority will not.
Fast forward a bit, and Prince eventually cut ties with Warner Bros. But, plot twist, he rejoined them in 2014, this time with ownership of his old masters. There was a catch, though. The label held the global licensing rights. Now, here's where the conspiracy theories kick in. Some fans are whispering that maybe, just maybe, the industry wasn't too happy about Prince reclaiming control, and that might have played a part in the tragic turn of events. In fact, Prince might not be the only celebrity who died while trying to fight the industry. We have other equally talented artists, such as Whitney Houston and Phyllis Hyman, who pretty much met the same fate. You see, in the 1970s, Clive Davis, while managing Columbia Records, became embroiled in a trafficking scandal that shook the music industry. Federal agents raided the label, leading to the prosecution of several individuals, including Davis's closest assistant, for between Italy, the US, and Canada. Subsequently, Davis was fired, though he managed to maintain a clean record. This incident raises questions about Davis's later influence on artists like Whitney Houston, who faced her own struggles with. For context, Clive orchestrated Whitney's comeback in 2009 after years of substance abuse and a messy relationship which ended in a messy divorce. Her debut album, I Look to You, sold 304,000 copies in its first 7 days on the market, sending Houston back to the top of the charts and giving her the best debut week of her career. Houston still stands for the best of songwriting, the best of singing, and we know the public wants it, Clive said in 2009. There is a song on this album which is called I Didn't Know My Own Strength, and it really speaks for Whitney. She tumbled, but she didn't crumble. In any case, Whitney did not release anything after that since her voice had been ruined due to substance abuse, much to Clive's disappointment. But despite the undeniable vocal decline and the unmistakable shadow cast over Whitney's star power, Clive's optimism seemingly remained unscathed. Of course, one might wonder if his rosy outlook was fueled by the substantial coin he continued to rake in from her legacy. It's difficult not to speculate whether Clive's unwavering hope was propelled by the echoes of revenue streams rather than genuine concern. In any case, it was no secret that the music mogul appeared to be more invested in making money than in his protege's well-being. You see, Whitney died on Feb 11, 2012, the day before the Grammy Awards. This was hours before she was to attend Davis's annual pre-Grammy party. At the time, the public and lovers of her music worldwide were devastated by her passing. However, Davis, Whitney's self-proclaimed friend and mentor, still hosted his pre-Grammy party in the Beverly Hilton Hotel on the evening of February 11th, despite the singer's body remaining inside the building until 12:45 a.m. At the start of the event, he shared a tribute to Houston saying, "By now, you have all learned of the unspeakably tragic news of our beloved Whitney's passing. I don't have to mask my emotion in front of a room full of so many dear friends." The Grammy Award winner continued, "I am personally devastated by the loss of someone who has meant so much to me for so many years. Whitney was so full of life. She was so looking forward to tonight even though she wasn't scheduled to perform. Whitney was a beautiful person and a talent beyond compare. She graced this stage with her regal presence and gave so many memorable performances here over the years. Simply put, Whitney would have wanted the music to go on, and her family asked that we carry on." Whitney Houston's death on the eve of the Grammys in 2012 came as a horrific shock, if not entirely without warning.
Paramedics raced to the 4th floor and found a lifeless Whitney Houston inside her hotel room bathroom. bathtub. They tried in vain to resuscitate her with CPR.
The platinum-selling singer and actress was to attend Clive Davis's annual pre-Grammys bash at the Beverly Hilton that night, but instead, she died in a room upstairs after accidentally drowning in the bathtub. It was reported at the time that the LA County Coroner's Office noted in its post-mortem findings that a white crystal-like substance was found in the room. There was also an open bottle of champagne and other personal items believed to belong to the late songstress. An autopsy was performed with the official cause of death listed as accidental drowning with atherosclerotic heart disease and use, just probably immediately prior to the drowning listed among contributing factors. Although Clive wasn't the one who got her hooked on substances, we still cannot dismiss Clive's involvement in all this. In fact, recent revelations are now showing that Clive might have actually benefited more from Whitney's demise compared to when she was alive. You see, the world of music contracts is a labyrinthine maze, riddled with complexities that often escape public scrutiny. This clandestine clause, also referred to as a non-performance or failure of performance clause, raises eyebrows due to its alarming implications. This clause is a contractual provision that grants recording companies the astonishing power to rake in immense profits, even in the face of an artist's untimely demise. This seemingly nefarious maneuver ensures that record labels are entitled to claim not only their investments, but also a substantial portion of the artist's earnings from various revenue streams. The mechanism, shrouded in secrecy, empowers companies to secure hefty insurance policies against the artist's projected earnings, effectively making them beneficiaries of the artist's life and death. The inception of the death clause dates back to an era where the corridors of power were controlled by shadowy figures, reminiscent of scenes from the silver screen. It appears that this clause was designed to guarantee the label's financial security and influence, even if it meant profiting off the demise of an artist. In essence, the clause suggests that an artist who fails to meet performance obligations or repay advances becomes an even more lucrative asset in death. Intriguingly, this malevolent clause has evolved over time, adopting a subtler facade while maintaining its exploitative essence. Once valued in thousands, it now holds the potential to be worth billions, owing to the colossal investments labels make in nurturing and promoting burgeoning talents. The insurance policies procured under this clause serve as a safeguard against potential losses in the event of an artist's incapacity or demise, thereby safeguarding the label's investments and projected profits. In any case, Kanye West has also been exposing the industry for its shady ways. West, much like Prince before him, has been very vocal about his frustration with the way the music industry works, particularly when it comes to who owns the rights to an artist's music. For years, Kanye has been pushing for artists to take back control of their own creations. In 2020, he took to Twitter to vent his frustrations and share his experience, and what he revealed struck a chord with many people. Kanye posted pages from his contract with Universal Music Group, UMG, and didn't hold back on his feelings. He bluntly called the situation a form of slavery. No fancy language, no sugarcoating. It was Kanye being Kanye, straight to the point. What he was getting at is that when artists sign these contracts, they're often giving up their rights to their own music. Sure, they get fame, money, and the chance to tour, but they lose control over something that should belong to them, their art. Kanye explained that when you sign a music contract, you're essentially saying goodbye to your rights. You no longer own the masters to your songs, which means you have no say in how, when, or where your music is played. Instead, the record label calls the shots. As an artist, you might get some of the benefits like being able to go on tour, sell merchandise, and live the life of a celebrity, but at the end of the day, you don't really own your music. It's like having a baby and then letting someone else decide everything about its future. That doesn't feel right, and Kanye made sure to let everyone know how messed up this system is. In one of his tweets, Kanye pointed out that artists have become too comfortable with this unfair setup. He said that the music industry throws them a few bones, like money from tours, some flashy jewelry, expensive drinks, and a little bit of fame to keep them happy. They even pump up their egos with fake numbers to make them feel important. But here's the catch. Despite all that, these artists don't own the masters to their own music. They're left with the fame, but without the most important thing, the rights to their creations. Kanye's outburst was a lot like the battle Prince fought years before. Prince famously went to war with his record label, Warner Bros., over the same issue of who owns the music. He even changed his name to a symbol and wrote slave on his face as a protest against the control the label had over his work. Just like Prince, Kanye is challenging the big players in the music industry, demanding that artists get what they deserve. This isn't a new problem, it's something that's been going on for years, and Kanye is just the latest in a long line of artists to speak out. about. The music industry has always been a place where artists have had to fight for their rights. The industry may offer a taste of the good life, but when it comes to real ownership and control, it's a whole different story. Interestingly, Clive Davis recently shared that Prince had spoken to him about some questionable deals offered by music labels. During their discussions, Prince's disdain for cover versions of his songs was a frequent topic. This conversation resurfaced when they discussed Mariah Carey's recording of The Beautiful Ones, which Prince apparently didn't approve of. Carey recorded it without his permission, which is legally permissible under the compulsory license provision that allows anyone to record a song without needing a waiver. However, Prince had a different reaction to other covers of his songs, like I Feel For You, Manic Monday, and Nothing Compares to You. These were all covers he supported and benefited from financially. But with Mariah's cover, that wasn't the case. Clive Davis wrote, "Let me confirm that Prince absolutely despised the compulsory license statutory provision. When Arista distributed Prince's album Rave Into the Joy Fantastic, the only album we worked on together, this was his favorite topic. Every time we spoke, whether it was a phone call, a concert, or a dinner, the issue of the unfair and inequitable compulsory license came up, and we had intense discussions about it. This was always at Prince's insistence. I didn't agree with him at all, and we would go back and forth on the issue. He even wanted me to go to Washington, D.C. with him to meet with Congress and plead his case. I refused because I disagreed with his stance. Then one day, Prince called me to say that he kept bringing up the subject because he found our dialogue fascinating and wanted us to record our conversations and release them on a CD. I told him the CD would flop because I didn't think anyone was interested in the topic except him. Maybe I was right, or maybe I was wrong, but I sure wish today I had tapes of those conversations. I would cherish them with much nostalgia and great affection." In any case, from the very beginning, it was clear that Prince was unlike anyone else in the music industry. He defied norms, challenged the status quo, and stayed true to his unique vision even when the industry pushed back. His battles with record labels, his fierce independence, and his fight for creative control were all signs that Prince never truly fit into the mold that the industry tried to force him into. But as much as we knew about Prince's struggles, no one could have predicted how tragically it would all end. The questions that Katt Williams raises aren't just about how Prince died. They're about the forces that may have been at play in his life. Forces that perhaps wanted to silence a voice that was too powerful, too free, and too revolutionary for the industry's liking. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.